Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, taking a look at the DRF race of the day for Thursday, June the 18th. Race number 9 at Belmont Park. It's the $125,000 Critical Eye Stakes, New York bred fillies and mares going a flat mile. Before we get to the analysis, I want to remind everybody, please try those new DRF mobile pass performances where you get to experience classic PPs with truly mobile interactive access anywhere, anytime on your phone. Learn more, DRF.com/MPPS. Here's the field for the Critical Eye Stakes. You can download free formulator pass performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page at DRF.com. Access them, handicap along with us. It is the 6-year-old debut of the lightly raced Radikowski, Mike. And as we take a look at the Timeform US pace projector, the quick Radikowski expected to make the lead, and I agree wholeheartedly.
It's hard to argue with that pace projector. She's a really fast horse, off the layoff in here, turning back to a one-turn mile. I expect to see her on the front end.
English Soul, the number 1, was purchased by Calumet Farm for $170,000 at a November auction. She's raced 3 times since for her new trainer, Jack Sisterson, earned a greatest stakes placing on turf at Churchill Downs. Her 2 dirt starts over wet tracks. She has run well on wet tracks in the past, but I guess you could give her that excuse. Listed as a vet scratch on June the 3rd, while she's yet to win on turf, I've always kind of liked her a little bit better on that surface.
Yeah, it's funny. I kind of look at her the same way. I kind of prefer her as a turf horse. She's pretty good on dirt too, though. I actually feel like she's a little underrated, Dan. They did that when she was scratched here on opening week. That was a turf race that they had her entered in. Didn't run there. She's going to run here against New York breds. It is a little bit of class relief for her, but it's not an easy spot.
The connection's patience with Radikowski really paid off. She did not make her career debut until May of her 5-year-old campaign. And her 5-year-old campaign was highlighted by a victory in the $250,000 Empire Distaff Handicap. They tried her against tough graded company in her final start last year, the Fall City, and she just went a little too fast in the early portion of that race and got tired going a tough mile and an eighth. This distance is better for her. This cutback is better for her. And I trust Graham Motion off layoffs.
Yeah, I do too. And I agree with you about the Fall City. It was probably too tough anyway, but she just went a little too fast. I know that she won over 9 furlongs at Saratoga last summer, but I think that's a little bit too far for her. Cutting back around one turn here, going a mile. I think she's going to be really tough to beat in here.
I'm a big fan of the 3, no Hain, no gain, but she's probably going to have to step up her game a little bit if she's going to beat the big 2 in here, but her buyer's going on an upward trajectory. Before the break, she was 3rd last time out against Open Foes in the Heavenly Prize. She took her shot on the turn there with a wide bid before flattening out. I've always thought that she's the kind of horse that can outrun her odds, and maybe she can get into the number again at a big price.
I can see her getting a piece of this as well. She does catch the 2 favorites in here, the 2 likeliest winners, I would guess, off of layoffs. I think that's a good thing for No Hain, No Gain. She got buried by Radikowski in the Empire Distaff last year. She got buried by More Mischief in the Bioggio's Rose 2 starts back, so she's got a lot of ground to make up on the 2 favorites.
We take a look at that race. She was a good performance last time out for No Hain, No Gain. 86 Buyer speed figure. You see her, she was wide through the turn, loomed boldly, and then just couldn't get by. Newly Minted was at 1-5. She made the lead. She disappointed as Crimson Frost came over the top of everybody, but it was a solid performance for No Hain, No Gain. A horse where you usually know what you get on her best day. It's a Buyer speed figure in the mid to high 80s. We'll move on to Mrs. Orb, who another mare that got good last year. She won 4 consecutive races, including the Bay Ridge going a mile and an eighth. Last time out in the Bioggio's Rose, however, just didn't get involved behind More Mischief and No Hain, No Gain. A bit of a disappointing effort. I like that Mike Maselli, a guy that wins races and is very underrated, gave her a break.
I like that he gave her a break, too. He did get her really good. All of a sudden last year, she finally broke her maiden on turf, and then she won 4 straight races on the main track. Maselli, as you mentioned, does a really good job, really underrated. He was winning tons of races last year.
More Mischief is 2 for 2 this year as a newly turned 4-year-old, including this performance in the Biagio's Rose, where she defeated No Hain, No Gain, and she defeated Mrs. Orb. More Mischief was very eager in the early portion of this race. She pulled hard. She was very wide on the backstretch. She made a move on the turn, and she's just going to take the measure of Newly Minted, who's disappointed, as we've seen in a couple of starts. 90 Beyer speed figure, good tactical speed, likes a mile. It's Chad Brown. There's a lot to like.
I mean, there really is a lot to like. It did take her a while to sort of put it all together, but she's looked like she's had talent basically right from the start, Dan. And she just feels like now she's finally putting everything together, getting better with every single start in here. Listen, she's off, a little bit of a layoff, just like Radikowski is, but she does have 2 races this year, and they're both good.
The great Johanna, listen, her Beyer speed figures are light, but ever since Jimmy Ferraro got this mare back to the dirt, she's done nothing but run good races, save for the one performance on a wet track 2 starts back. She's won 4 out of her last 6, including this race going through her New York bred conditions on February the 28th. She came with a nice solid run in this race, Mike. She's the number 3. She's on the outside now of Mike B, and she's going to go by under a heavy drive. Career best Beyer of 77, light compared to some of the others, but hard to knock the form.
Yeah, and really good form. She got a great trip and ride from Manny Franco in this race, and she got it done. Taking a pretty nice step forward as well, Dan, getting a new top Beyer, but she's going to have to improve again to beat this field.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the Critical Eye Stakes. 1 turn mile, the feature at beautiful Belmont Park on Thursday. Mike's going Radikowski. Listen, she's probably going to be controlling this race up front, and if she shakes loose on the turn, she'll be tough to reel in. I know More Mischief can be a little bit of a handful coming out of the gate. I think she can settle a little closer to the pace maybe than where Timeform US has her. I think those are the 2 horses to beat, although I got to throw No Hain, No Gain in there somewhere in the number.
Yeah, I put her 3rd. I really couldn't get past the 2 favorites in here, and I'll take the speed of Radikowski on top.
2-5-3-1 for Mike, 5-3-2-6 for me. The $125,000 Critical Eye, your DRF race of the day for Thursday, has an approximate post of 5:36 Eastern. Good luck.